Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. This is going to be a bit of a different video from my normal heavyweight coverage. This is going to look at coronavirus, some of the emerging news from the virus which is impacting boxing. As we know, other sports are sort of feeling the effects from the virus, which has been declared a pandemic worldwide. Basketball in particular, the NBA impacted, also college basketball, but boxing too. So there has been some news coming out. So Top Rank Boxing, as you can see here, breaking news: due to the coronavirus pandemic and to ensure the health and safety of boxing fans, Top Rank announced today that the March 14 and March 17 events at Hulu Theatre at Madison Square Garden will proceed without spectators. The only individuals granted access to the events will be the essential production and support staff, in addition to the fighters and necessary team members. Both events shall be shown live on their respective ESPN platforms. As for future events, Top Rank is consulting with its venue partners and will make a determination in due course. Full refunds for tickets purchased for the March 14 and 17 events will be available at the point of purchase. And this is an outcome that I think we're going to see a bit more of, that events may go ahead, but just without fans. And from a fan perspective, if you're watching on TV, that might seem a little bit jarring because obviously the crowd noise, the atmosphere, it does sort of play into the event and it's part of it, even if you're watching at home on TV. An event where you can just hear the corners yelling out instructions, it'll seem more like sort of amateur boxing days where there's almost zero crowd. But moving on, and then we'll get to some news from the UK soon. But first, another event which has been impacted and actually cancelled. So PBC has announced that the James Kirkland and Hernandez fight, which was going to be this weekend, is off. So the PBC statement says official Saturday's PBC fight night headlined by Kirkland Hernandez has been postponed, and it is, as the graphic says, due to the concerns over the spread of coronavirus. So it might be a mixture of, as the first one with Top Rank, the fight goes ahead, no fans, or just events are cancelled in general. And you would have to imagine that some of these major promotional outfits, such as the PBC, also Top Rank, and anywhere else, is going to have some level of coverage here, insurance to sort of insulate themselves, but the TV deals will be part of the reason that some of these fights go ahead. So that will sort of cushion the blow, I would imagine. But moving on, amateur boxing in the United States has been cancelled for the time being. So USA Boxing has issued a statement on social media saying, effective immediately, all USA Boxing sanctioned events will be suspended until March 31st. And then it goes on to basically say, what you should do in terms of hygiene. Clean, disinfect gloves, headgear, common areas more often, wash your hands often for 20 seconds. Don't come to a gym if you're sick. Don't touch your face, it spreads germs. Cough into your elbow or a tissue. And that's one thing that gets on my goat, especially if I'm at the supermarket and someone is just like coughing, no hand over their mouth, and yeah, that is gross. Moving on, so boxing is cancelled in Puerto Rico. So the WBO has announced on its social media, in light of the national emergency in Puerto Rico, effective immediately, all scheduled activities of the World Boxing Organization in the island will be postponed until past the month of May 2020 due to the coronavirus. So some of these sanctioning bodies and obviously governing bodies for amateur boxing, the promotional companies, they're looking over the next few months because the whole issue with the spread of the virus being a pandemic now, some countries like Italy are on lockdown. This is sort of like a snowball rolling downhill. So it does have the potential to really impact boxing worldwide. We know that there has been some issues in Japan in terms of what they've been doing. That was a few weeks ago. But now it's sort of reaching elsewhere, and it's starting to feel more real, as it were, in terms of, if you're a boxing fan, that I think this was a peripheral issue just to even a few days ago, that there was a little bit of concern about what coronavirus might do for the sport, but now the impacts are really starting to hit home. And the World Boxing Super Series has issued a statement saying, corporate statement, COVID-19 impact on Bradis Dorticus WBSS cruiserweight final on March 21. It says, today, Thursday, the World Boxing Super Series has learned, as a consequence of the coronavirus disease COVID-19 outbreak, the government of Latvia has decided that all public events, meetings, processions and pickets with more than 200 participants are banned as of March 13 till April 14, 2020. We are assessing the consequences for the WBSS cruiserweight final scheduled for March 21 in Riga with local authorities and the fighters' teams. We will make a further statement in the coming days. And that statement was issued by Komosa Ag, WBSS organizer. So yeah, worldwide sort of implications for boxing now. Sort of we've heard from that Latvia, Puerto Rico, USA, it is not just one area or one region that is being impacted. It's happening all over the world now. But in the UK, it's still a bit of a wait and see approach. So Matchroom has issued a statement on its social media saying, we understand any COVID-19 concern around purchasing tickets for our upcoming events. To confirm, refunds will be available if any events are postponed or cancelled. So to date, the events, and obviously Matchroom's got a massive schedule coming up, and you also have Frank Warren with his big show on April 11th for Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. But the Matchroom side, you have Usyk and Chisora, that's May 23, Dillian White and Alexander Povetkin, May 2nd, Anthony Joshua, Kubrat Pulev, June 20. I think for all involved, they want those events to go ahead because they're big money makers, pay-per-views, all four of those events that I just mentioned. But at the moment, it's a wait and see. And there have been some statements by UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He's trying to fan down the flames. He doesn't want to fan them further. He definitely seems to be taking a more wait and see approach for the time being. So yeah, boxing is starting to really feel the impacts of the virus. So yeah, what do you make of it all? Do you think we're going to see mass events cancelled the next few months, which was looking really good for the sport? It was a slow start to the year for the heavyweight division in particular, and the division, all divisions more broadly. But now it looks like the next couple of months, with all the meat that was going to be on the schedule, looks like it could be wiped out, or at least there could be events where fighters are fighting to empty venues. Drop a comment. Loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.